It is a jam-packed AZ Wildcats podcast for all of you guys today. We got head ball coach Brent Brennan coming right up after this. Leave a like. Do not go anywhere.
Welcome on in, guys, to the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by the fine folks over at Circle K. I am Damon Fairall, a.k.a. Damon Dog. He is Mr. Kevin Thomas, a.k.a. Kevo Post, and we are the AZ Wildcats pod, coming to you live from PHNX HQ Trace here in lovely, beautiful Phoenix downtown on a Thursday afternoon. Kevin Thomas, we got a jam-packed show, as you alluded to in the cold open. Head football coach Brent Brennan, head ball coach, as I like to say, Brent Brennan, will be on the show in just a few short minutes here. We're going to kind of let the chat get warmed up a little bit, let some people get their foot in the door, and then we'll hit that Brennan interview off the top. But super excited to show you guys our third interview, I believe, Kevin, with Brent Brennan. First appearance since he made his appearance back in Frisco at Big 12 Media Day, before a snap was played on the season in 2025, and before, there were really any expectations on Brent Brennan and his program, right? Like, it felt like, being that it was me and you and Justin Spears were the three Arizona media members that were out there representing, given that, it was, it felt like there was bad vibes in and around the program. And Brent Brennan and all the players, they were singing a different tune. And we walked away from that. Like, that was our main takeaway, was like, man, these guys are really locked into what, their goal is here in 2025. And even if, people like me and Kevin, who cover this team so closely, are in and around this team so closely, didn't see it, they believed the whole time. And I think that showed over the course of this 2025 season, Kevin.
Yeah, I think so too. And I was really excited for this interview with head ball coach, as you say, Brent Brennan, because I think, like, as many people in the chat have brought up, like, I think he's really grown this year as a head coach. And we do get into that in this interview that we were able to catch up with him a little bit earlier today. But I was really curious about that, because that is something that I feel like a lot of coaches, they don't really get into, like, areas of knowing they got to get better and areas of knowing they're not a completed product. And I understand having, like, a coach's mentality when it comes to, getting 1% better every day and making sure you're maximizing your 24 hours and all that coach speaky stuff. That really, I feel like, becomes incumbent upon the players to represent that more so than it ever does the coaches. But Brent Brennan really feels like he is showing up every day, grinding it out, addressing the things that he needs to address, and trying to get better every single day, which is crazy that we have a coach in Brent Brennan that says a lot of stuff that it could be viewed as coach speaky, could be viewed as maybe a bit cliche, if you will, but he backs it up. He embodies it. He actually goes out there and lives his life in that way, and I think that is a very respectable way to live your life.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It felt like, a lot of it was like, as you say, coach speaky, and just the kind of stuff that you expect to hear every single offseason. But for some reason, it did feel a little bit different, even to the point where, and I know that this is like behind the camera conversations, they would never admit this on their own show, which I believe is still live right now. But even Totri and Ruby walked away from that Big 12 media experience, Kevin, being like, I think Brent Brennan's going to kind of turn it around. I think Brent Brennan's got some things figured out here. Even before some Arizona fans were starting to feel that way, right? And it just felt like things were, like, when you truly listen to the words that they were saying, it was a situation where it was probably so easy to just be like, whatever, means nothing. But if you sat down and you opened your heart up to Redline and you listened, I think that you genuinely would have felt like this is a bit different, right? And it starts with Brent Brennan, it starts at the tops, and then it trickles down to his coordinators and the two guys that he brings in Seth Dagey and Danny Gonzalez. And it's also, I think, at the head of that snake as well is Noah Fafita, who his attitude and his leadership trickles down to all his teammates as well. He's just the type of guy that your teammates want to galvanize around and play for, right? Like that's because they have so much respect for him. So it was a great conversation with Coach Brennan. Can't wait to get into it here in just a few short moments. Wanted to answer some questions here in the chat. Palmer asked the question if we're going to San Diego and says that they booked their room today. Hell yeah, Palmer. Kevin and I, in fact, will be in San Diego. We'll be bringing our guy Noah Wolbrecht with us of the PHNX Cardinals podcast, and we cannot wait to get nasty in the city with the people. I mean, it's just going to be electric stuff out there. Max puts in here, hashtag cringe is okay. Wanted to shout out Deborah, Kevin, who has not been here as much as we are used to Deborah being here recently. Deborah did unfortunately tell us that she's dealing with something with her family in the D-backs chat yesterday, or maybe it was Tuesday, but I just wanted to say that we are so happy to have Deborah back here. Deborah is a staple of this community, of this chat, of this Wildcats community, and it wasn't the same without her. So we're thinking about you, Deborah. We hope everything's all right. Thank you so much for being here today. It means the world to us that you'd spend your time with us. With that being said, please drop a like on this video. Without further ado, Kevin, do we have anything we want to get to before we start talking to Arizona's head coach, Brent Brennan?
No, not really. Well wishes to Deborah Owens. I was not aware of that, so that is very unfortunate. Hopefully everything works out on that front. I know your family probably appreciates all the sunshine you bring to their life the same way you bring sunshine to our chat on YouTube. So thank you for all of your patronage of this podcast, Deborah Owens. And like Damon said, let's get into this Brent Brennan interview, head ball coach of the Arizona Wildcats.
We are fired up to be joined by Arizona's head coach, Brent Brennan, here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Coach, it wasn't necessarily the ideal start in year one for you and your tenure, but year two has gone better than almost anybody from an outside perspective could have possibly seen coming. But you guys saw this and clocked this the entire time. We actually have a clip here from what your comments to us from Big 12 Media Day in Frisco. And I wanted to go ahead and roll that and then give you a chance to respond to what you said in the clip.
We know what we're doing. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about it is I understand everyone's frustration. And like I've told you guys before, like, you think you're more pissed off about last season than me? I mean, come on. Like, stop with that nonsense. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So for me, like, what we're doing is we're just investing in the process with our team. I think because of that, I think we have a real authentic, genuine family environment. I think lots of programs say that. I think it's BS at most programs. At Arizona, it is real, and it is reflected in the retention of our players and the players we've been able to acquire and are continuing to acquire through the recruiting process of both the portal and high school players. And so that we feel great about that. I love the staff. I love where we're at, and I love the work our team's putting in.
Now, Coach, I feel like a lot of people view that as coach speak, right? But you truly believe the words that you were saying. So can you just speak to kind of that belief?
You know, I had a lot of faith in the players that we had returning and in the coaches that we had in place. I thought we'd had an incredible spring practice and offseason. The way the players attacked every part of our process, I thought gave us a chance to play the kind of football we want to play. And the hard part is that, you know, when you're in the offseason, and even in the game of football, there's so few games that you don't get a chance to prove it until those 12 shots, you know, in September to December. So, you know, that part you have to, when you have a bad season or a hard season, you have to live with that for a year. And that part of it's tough. But I thought the way our players responded, I thought the way our coaches responded, we got great support from our administration. I thought that gave us a chance. And then really, you know, I think when you look at it, there's so many, you know, you said, you know, a lot of people didn't see it coming or didn't believe, like so many people come up to me and said like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't believe in you, or I'm sorry I doubted the team or whatever. And I'm like, that's okay, because we didn't stop believing in ourselves. We didn't doubt this team. We didn't doubt each other. We believed that we could. And so the results are what they are. But like, what choice do you really have? You want to choose to believe you can or choose to believe you can't? And so I think that, you know, the fact that we've had some success and we've had a lot of fun together doing it is because we believed we could.
Coach, I think one of the more impressive things about the turnaround from last year to this year is that belief within the locker room that clearly permeated to the post-game pressers, to any media availabilities the players had. They were preaching one thing, and it was red line, right? And I think my question to you after what you answered to Damon there was, how do you maintain that level of belief in a locker room when everyone outside the locker room is saying, I don't know if you guys got it. I think you guys are the old version of the Wildcats. I don't know if Brent Brennan can do this. How do you have that year last year, come back to this locker room and galvanize guys week over week?
Well, I think some of that outside noise can be galvanizing in its own right. You know what I mean? I think it can be a little bit of us against the world. And I think really, for our players and our staff, we just had incredible alignment with the staff. And so really from our new coordinators and into how they push that out to their sides of the ball or their phase of what we do. And then our strength staff and in all those pieces, everybody being in really clear alignment about how we were going to do it and what our belief structure was going to be, how we were going to make red line a part of who we are. And I thought the two things had to happen, right? You have to have alignment and consistency in the messaging, but then you have to have players that are willing to buy in every single day and really adopt it and live it. And that's what these players did. And that's why I just have so much love for this football team. Whether we're talking about the high profile guys like Noah and Stukes and Dalton and Genesis and that to the guys that are scout team players, that part of it, if you're going to build a real team, it's got to be from top to bottom. It can't just be with your high profile guys.
If you had to go ahead and pick a player for maybe your red line accountability player of the year, Coach, maybe you give me one on both sides of the ball. You give me a few guys. You don't have to nail it down to just one. But is there anybody that stands out in particular that really carried on that red line mantra and it trickled down to the rest of the roster?
That's such a big question. And, but I think, the simplest would be, I think Dalton Johnson was incredible all year, just with how hard he played, what a great leader he was, his playmaking ability, his talent showed up, but he was just a full speed guy. Tay Brown was another guy. Tay was a consistent, in practice, just incredibly high effort player. His red line was visible. And that's one of the things about red line, in the effort component of red line, you should be able to see it on tape. And if you don't see it on tape, then you're full of crap. Stop saying that you're red line if it's not showing up when we turn on the videotape, whether it's game tape or practice film. Offensively, I think there's a lot of guys that would fall into that category. I think those receivers really showed up in a meaningful way. We got great play out of our running back position. It was a little bit of a three-headed monster, but those guys are high effort guys. And then when you look at the core and the tight end position, the progress Cam made or Sam Olsen, and then there's a couple of those O-linemen that just battled. I mean, maybe Kaena DeCambra is like the great example of that. He's a guy that played offensive tackle his whole career and then showed up here and developed into a fantastic center who's going to have a chance to play in the National Football League. So there's a lot of guys that contributed to that. And the cool thing about Redline is it's contagious. Nobody wants to be the lazy ass guy on film. Nobody wants to get that distinction. Everybody wants to be the badass that's running to the football and smacking people and making plays and showing up. And so once guys start to have a good, clear understanding of what that looks like, they want to be a part of it.
Coach, Seth Dagey and Danny Gonzalez are players, or not players, they're coaches that have at every turn said, I want to build this with Brent Brennan. I want to be here. I want to help build this red line mentality in this locker room and win games doing it, right? Your first year working with Seth Dagey for a full season, what was that like? You spoke to the alignment. What are some things you took away from that first full season working with Seth?
Well, I thought just Coach Dagey, along with his football acumen, I think he also brought a lot of great leadership to that side of the ball. And he did a great job of bringing in some new pieces and then, kind of bringing together the pieces that were here before. And I think you just saw incredible growth by, I thought our O-line was fantastic. Josh Oglesby just did a great job with them. But there were so many parts of that Dagey had to put those pieces together because they weren't all people that he had worked with before, right? But he just did an incredible job. His leadership, his consistency of his messaging. I think our alignment, with myself and Seth and Danny and Craig Niver, I think was critical for us moving the direction we wanted to move as a program. And I think when you have, great coaches and great alignment, you can do special things.
And I want to talk about that other coordinator, and that is Danny Gonzalez, who was up for the Broyles Award until the, kind of last moment there. And I know that he was our pick for the Broyles Award winner here, Coach. We were voting for him when they, opened it up to a fan vote, but it wasn't to be. But can you just
We all
talk
voted
about
for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you just talk about what he meant to this team, and just kind of, elevating him from that linebackers coach to that defensive coordinator role, what that did for the program?
Well, I think when I made that decision, I really believed in it. I had coached against Coach Gonzalez on several occasions. I knew how good they were. I knew what he had done at every stop he's ever been at in terms of building a mentality, a physicality, and then matching it with really something schematically that's different. And like our first year here together, he wasn't in that role, but he was such a great part of us trying to do the right things and trying to build it the right way. And so I had total confidence when I elevated him to be the defensive coordinator. And to his credit, he made the most of it. And I think that's something that's cool because we talk all the time with our players about making the most of the opportunities you get. And when Coach G got that opportunity, he kicked ass, and it was awesome. And it was a lot of fun to watch. And the players were all in on it. And just like the effort that they play with and the physicality that they play with, it's so fun to watch. And so I'm just really, really appreciative of both, Danny Gonzalez and Seth Daggy, just awesome teammates on this journey. And we're having a lot of fun.
We also have to give credit where credit is due, Coach. And I know a lot of people, say when you're someone's therapist, who therapizes you, right? But if you're the head coach, who gives the head coach plaudits? I think it's, partially on the fans, partially on me and Damon to do just that. But I wanted to get a little introspective with you here, Coach. Do you think that this past year, because a lot of fans have seen this and they've made comments about it on social media, do you believe that you have grown as a head coach this past season, and not just in terms of the head coach of Arizona, but as a professional? Like, do you think you've gotten better at being head coach this season?
I think every head coach should be getting better every season. Like, that's just like, if we're not getting better at our jobs, what the hell are we doing? You know what I mean? And when you go through, I think, normally I would say the growth is in the valleys, and last year was definitely a valley. You know what I mean? And so that part of it, I think, is one of those deals. And you know what? I mean, let's be honest, guys. What people say on social media, like, I don't have any control over that. Like, that doesn't – what I worry about is this football team. What I worry about is University of Arizona, this staff. Are we moving the right way? Are we doing things – are we attacking our process? Are we doing everything we can to get ready for this bowl game against a really good opponent? Are we finishing up academically this semester well? Like, that's where my focus is at. But like in terms of, like, I think everyone should be growing. So of course I had a lot of growth in the last, 2 years. It's a new job. It's a new place. It's a new program. It's new people. It's a new community. There's so new university. Like, there's so many things when you take over these jobs and when you walk into them that you don't know. And there was an incredible amount of transition here when we took over, and we had to navigate that storm. But I believe in how we did it, and I believe in our process, and I think the results are starting to show up.
What's one thing, if you could let us in on your past year here, Coach? What's one thing you do think that you have grown at? What's one area of the coaching realm that you believe that you've taken a stride in this year?
Well, I think it's a balance for me. I think one of the biggest things was just like we needed to really define clear expectations for how we were going to move forward as a team, and that started, to be honest with you, in December of 24. Like that, we made it very, very clear about how we were going to build the roster and who was going to be a part of it going forward. And we just made it simple. They got to be tough. They got to love football, and they have to want to be at the University of Arizona. And that's it. And we weren't going to wait around for guys to lurk in the portal for 6 months, and we weren't going to kiss everyone's ass and beg them to play for us. Like, you don't want to be here, that's fine. Don't waste our time. We're going to find guys that want to ride for the brand and kick ass on Saturdays in Tucson. And that's how we built it.
It's the only way to build it, Coach. And I think we've talked a lot about like kind of the hurdles of last season and the triumph that was this season. But I want to give a little bit more time here as we round out this interview for us to kind of celebrate the year that was 2025 Arizona football, because it was incredible, especially being 4-3, winning those final 5 games. You getting your first win in the rivalry in the Territorial Cup. And then ultimately, getting an appearance in the Holiday Bowl. Can you just kind of talk to what the honor that it is to be in the Holiday Bowl, and then also what it meant to get that first Territorial Cup win?
We're so excited about playing in the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. I mean, we went out there on Tuesday for the kind of the press conference and then also kind of the banquet, and got to know a bunch of the people that are involved in supporting that program or that that game. And just the Redcoats, man, they were everywhere, and they're an impressive outfit. They care so much. I went out there with our athletics director and some of our other administrators, and it was just a great experience to meet everybody that's in charge of the bowl game. Mark Neville, who's the kind of runs the whole thing, just did a fantastic job. We just felt super welcome. And so we know we're playing a big time opponent in a big time bowl game on January 2nd, and so that's one of those things when you're talking about bowl seasons, you want to be playing in big games. You want to play against good people. And that's the opportunity that we have on January 2nd in the Holiday Bowl. And so we're so excited about that. Our team's excited to play. We can't wait. We've had a great practice so far. And obviously we've got a lot of work left to do, but I love where we're at today. We got practice tonight. And so, we're attacking our process every single day with the excitement and the enthusiasm to play in a big time bowl game against a great opponent from the ACC. And so we know what's ahead. And so I just love that for our team, and to be able to listen to Christmas music in Arizona Stadium while you're getting ready for bowl game. That is the goal, man. That is the goal. You asked about the holidays earlier, man. That's part of it, and I think that's one of those things that great programs and great teams consistently understand is the holidays take a back seat when you're kicking ass on the football field on Saturdays in the fall. And that's the goal. That's the goal, we got a lot of players, families that never been to San Diego. It's going to be great. Let's go. Let's go have a great time out there and play good football. And so we're excited about it. We're honored to be included in it. We have a lot of respect for Rhett Lashley in that program at SMU. And so we know we got a big time battle, and we can't wait.
Yeah, our little AZ Wildcats podcast family. I'm from Tucson. I've been to San Diego a million times, more than I could count. But my guy Kevin's only been there once, and COVID happened right when he was out there on that trip. And then we're taking a producer, Noah. He's never been out to San Diego, so we're gonna hopefully enjoy some good football and definitely enjoy one of the best cities in America. But what do you expect from this SMU team? What's that matchup look like from your perspective?
They're really well coached. These guys play really hard. Defensively, they're really impressive. They've got big-time NFL player in the back end. Amon Moses just makes every play, makes every tackle, really physical. The defensive line is serious. They've done a really good job building their roster there, right? This was a CFP team a year ago, right? So these guys know what they're doing. Their program is strong. They've been winning consistently for years. And Coach Lashley and that staff are excellent football coaches. And so when you look at the season they had, right, the big time win against University of Miami, who's a playoff team, go on the road and beat Clemson at Clemson. I mean, this is a good football team, and we know that. And so, I'm looking at it like our preparation has to be on the level that we understand the fight we're about to get in the Holiday Bowl. And offensively, they're explosive, right? The quarterback is dynamic. He has a little bit of Noah, and just in terms of his creativity and when he gets off schedule, how dangerous he can be. But they're big time playmakers at wide receiver. Backs are really good. The O-line is mature. So and they're a tempo team, right? They want to score points. They want to move the football quickly. So these are all things we got to get ready for, and that's what we've been doing for the last few weeks.
I want to win the damn Holiday Bowl, damn it, Coach. I'm with you. I think this is going to be a big-time matchup. I'm excited for it. Damon mentioned it. He is a native Tucsonan, and this means everything to people like him. So thank you for joining us. Happy holidays. Is there anything that you wanted to give a shout-out to before we got on out of here?
No, I just appreciate everybody that's already rallied, already bought tickets. As of Tuesday night, there were only 5,000 tickets left for the game, right? So the thing's going to be sold out. It's going to be rocking. I'm hopeful that our Arizona alums in the state of California, I'm hoping all of the Arizona fans and alums in Arizona make the drive over to San Diego and let's make that thing rock. I mean, let's blow it out. Let's have a big time game day for everyone to experience, and everybody there wearing the proper version of the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Before we did get out of here, Coach, I know you've been so generous with your time, but I did want to just ask you real quick, what kind of opportunity is, a great opportunity has arisen for Coach Alonzo Carter, running backs coach at Sac State, and now he's going to be their head football coach over there. Can you just kind of speak to what kind of coach that Sac State will be getting in Alonzo Carter?
No, we're really excited. We're really excited for Zoe. Obviously, Zoe's someone I've known for an incredibly long time. He's been a successful coach on every level he's ever been in. Our relationship started 25 plus years ago. And he was winning a ton of games at McClymonds High School in Oakland, and then he took it to Berkeley High School, won there. Then he went to Contra Costa College, the junior college up there, and won there. And so they're getting a guy who's going to really care about his players. He's going to be about the right stuff. He's going to dive into building the team, building the roster, building the coaching staff. And so right now, I think he's up there. I think he's coming back here tomorrow because he's still going to coach in our game. But he's up there meeting with players and talking to guys about being a part of what he's going to build at Sac State. And so we're all super excited for him. We love Coach Carter. He's been an awesome, teammate, friend for me for years and years. But, we worked together the last 9 years. And so I'm going to miss him because I love him and he's an incredible contributor to what we've done here. But I'm excited for this opportunity for him. And he's earned it and he's going to do a great job. And everyone here is so happy for Zoe.
We're very excited for Coach Carter as well and that opportunity, and we wish him the best. But, Coach, we are looking forward to hopefully an epic Holiday Bowl matchup versus SMU on January 2nd. Kevin and I will be out there, and we cannot wait to see the squad out there for one last time in this epic 2025 and I guess 2026 now that it's on January 2nd season. But thank you so much for being generous with your time, Coach, and we can't wait till we get to talk to you again.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in San Diego. Fire up, everybody. Get out there. Let's go. Let's go. Pack it. Bear down.
Bear down. That is, of course, Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan, and making his third appearance on the show. Kevin, I think my favorite interview that we've done with him, given the fact that we get to talk about a little bit more positivity and focus on the good things rather than, talking about, hey, what's it like to have no one believe in you like our previous two interviews. But that was a different tune as well from a Brent Brennan standpoint. Much more serious at Big 12 Media Day. You could tell the tone was a lot different in that he felt like maybe he was on the defense a little bit at Big 12 Media Day of trying to be like, this is why people should believe in me and this program. Whereas now it's like you're looking at someone who's a little bit more comfortable in what he has actually accomplished and feeling like, the fan base is behind him. The people that are in support at the top are behind him in DRF and our university president. Like, I just feel like this is a different Brent Brennan than what we've previously talked to.
I think that's a good point. And that's why I asked him that question about what, he feels like he's grown in the most so far this year. Cause he did kind of dunk on me with we should be getting better every year, shouldn't we, Kevin? And I was like, you know what, Coach, you're right. Can you get a little more specific? And I think, while obviously if I'm Brent Brennan, you probably don't want to give, too much of the game plan away in terms of where you actually think that you're worst as a head coach and where you're actually trying to get better every day. But I do think that it was nice of him to be so candid with us, and especially, in the brief, bit before the interview, just talking with us about his holiday, his holiday traditions and things that he likes to do around this time of year, and how being a head coach can kind of play spoiler to some of the holiday plans that he might have. But they're good problems to have, because it means your team is in a bowl game of some sort of significance if you are busy around this time of year, and Brent Brennan is certainly busy this time of year. We have a lot more to get into in regards to that interview, in regards to some news for our Holiday Bowl opponents, SMU. They're getting their quarterback back and maybe losing a coach on the other side of it. So it's the AZ Wildcats podcast. Jervis, drink your water, leave a like, and don't go anywhere. You should always do your research after you've been in an accident or had some sort of serious injury, and that's why the husband and wife law team are here for you. And they are Mark and Alexis Breyer. They have been in the Valley for what feels like forever. Now they have their 8 children out here, and that is why the focus is always on giving back to their community and making sure that their customers and their clients' best interest is in heart. Because with the husband and wife law team, not many law firms can guarantee you things, but they can guarantee that the communication will always be on point. They will allow you to call them at any time about anything. You can also cancel your fee at any time for any reason, and they do guarantee that you will receive as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to do so. And I'm talking about real specialists. I mean, if you want a three-pointer on the court, you go to Steph Curry. If you want a W in a serious injury or wrongful death suit, you go to the husband and wife law team and you call this number at 602-783-8841, and you will be reaching a specialist in this field. Only 1% of the Arizona lawyers are certified and specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation, but those two those two down there are Mark and Alexis Breyer. If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes below and make sure to let them know the AZ Wildcats podcast sent you.
If you guys are still struggling to find some gifts here with Christmas just a mere week away, Kevin, we are in fact T-minus 7 days from the big day, from the big man himself, Santa Claus, coming to town and handing off presents to everybody. But again, if you're struggling to find presents, the go-to spot to shop for all your favorite local sports team gear is Rally House. There's 3 locations here in Arizona, Kevin. One in the West Valley up there in Westgate by the Cardinal Stadium, one more centrally at Tempe Marketplace, and then one over there on the east side in Mesa. Something for everybody, and if you guys haven't checked it out, their selection yet for yourself, you're gonna have to head on over there because they have everything you could possibly imagine, whether that's wall decorations, maybe like some bobbleheads, different knickknacks like that, all of the apparel. Kevin likes to throw in the lug nuts.
Dog collar.
Jack has a St. Louis Blues dog collar from Rally House. Like, it really is special what's going on at Rally House. And guys, I'm telling you, go check their online assortment out on rallyhouse.com's website if you want to look at all of the teams that you could go look at. But if you want to just look at Arizona local team gear, you're going to want to go to one of those locations in store and check out that selection for yourself because it truly is special. It's like being in a winter wonderland, Kevin. When you're a big sports fan and you walk into a Rally House, you're like, oh my God.
It's everything everywhere all at once.
It feels like I'm a little kid in the toy store again, truly. But that's just because I love sports gear like that. And if you do too, head on over to Rally House, find your local location, and shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today. Words are difficult, Kevin. Rough ending to that ad read, but it's all good. Head on over to rallyhouse.com and check out that online product assortment. Kevin, now we talked to head coach Brent Brennan. We got a Redline Accountability Player of the Year nominees in place. We got a little bit of a Redline update and Redline victory lap going, but now we got to talk about this Redline shirt. You could prominently see it displayed in the background of that interview. Kevin's shirt came in yesterday.
I mean, this is quality right here.
Yesterday,
this is
it
quality.
came in?
Yeah, yesterday night.
Of course, I mean, it looks great, obviously, in person. You got the navy blue shirt, Redline in red, the turnover sword, impaling 3 footballs, and Sparky the Sun Devil, of course, because we had to add that in there. Unbelievable stuff. If you guys are looking for something for a Wildcat fan in your life, this is the perfect holiday gift for you. Those shirts are getting made now, so order as soon as possible to try to get it here before Christmas. It is seriously the perfect item to get for a Wildcat fan in your life. And Kevin, it looks clean as hell in person. It really does.
It really does. I got mine and my girlfriend's that I got for her in the mail, and I was looking at them in person, and I was like, you know what, like. This is the life. This is the life. Very grateful, very thankful. And I'm very happy for this shirt, very happy for those that have got theirs. And hopefully if you have not gotten yours, you are navigating to that link that I threw in the chat to get yours right now. That's all I got to say.
I agree, June. The shirt does make Kevin look even more handsome. It pops.
I need it these days.
Nah, stop it. It pops.
It does pop. No, it certainly pops. I'm not even really one for usually like, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say here, but this specific shade of navy, usually I just go for the black if there's an option in that case because it is so dark. But this is beautiful. The way it complements the red of the red line. And plus, chat, look at the Wilbur hat. You can do a Branded Bills little collab here. I mean, this is getting dressed 101. I mean, this is fashion 101 right here.
Your personal stylist, Kevin and Damon. That's what I say.
Yes, personal stylist. Fashionistas, whatever you want to call us, that is us. This Redline shirt will get you right for certain.
Store.allcitynetwork.com. That's what's going to get you to the website link that you're going to need to go get yourself that shirt. It is one of the newest items in that locker, so it should be right there towards the top. Should be easy to find.
Should I do that on my TikTok, Jervis? Should I do a get ready with me for the holiday bowl?
It probably would pop off. It probably would get like 200,000 views. It'd be like your most popular TikTok ever.
Man, maybe I will. I don't know. We're trying to promote.
GRWM.
We're trying to promote this shirt in any way, and I'm trying to cook up some creative ways to do that, and that might be a fun way to do it, Jervis. So maybe you might see that come to a TikTok.
I'm just envisioning Kevin going, and I had to put on my Red Line T-shirt courtesy of the ALLCITY Network store. Like, it's just in the background, and it's just him in front of a mirror just being like.
It's just that little UI tab that pops up in the front of the TikTok, and it's like, this user earns commission at this link and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm all about that.
It's like I'm envisioning complete silence. Kevin speaking in that like very soft spoken voice of like, and I had to put on that Red Line.
It's like the ASMR quality stuff.
Exactly.
And I had to go with the straight fire swaggy Red Line shirt. Yeah, no. And shout out to Brent Brennan for sitting on that interview and being a part of that. Hopefully we can maybe get Brent Brennan in one of these T-shirts before it's all said and done here, because I would love to see our head ball coach in our T-shirt that we created, Damon.
Yeah, that would be special. That would be special. I think that we're at the time now as a podcast where like the white whale is Tommy Lloyd. That's very clear. Kevin and I would do, we'd commit horrible crimes. You don't even want to know the things that we would do to get Tommy Lloyd on this podcast.
I mean, tax fraud for sure.
For sure. That's an easy one.
I might be doing that now. Who knows? No, I'm kidding.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But I think number 2 has to be getting Brent Brennan in a Red Line T-shirt.
Yeah, in a Red Line T-shirt.
Yeah. For sure. So we'll work on that now. But that was a great interview. Love to sit down with Brent Brennan. And one thing Brent Brennan said in that interview, Kevin, was talking about this SMU team, talking about specifically how well coached they are. And in the matter of how well coached they are, Kevin, they will, it seems like, unfortunately be losing one of those members that are, I guess, very influential on that coaching staff. In that OC, Casey Woods is going to be the next head coach at Missouri State, veteran coach who has worked as offensive coordinator on SMU's playoff team and also spent time at Mizzou, UAB, and Auburn. The deal is pending board approval at Missouri State on Friday. Kevin, back out there to your neck of the woods.
Yeah, go Bears.
Missouri stand up.
Whoa, Missouri State stand up.
Well, I'm saying like the whole state of Missouri.
Okay, no, I'm with you. I was just saying, I feel like that's like an Arizona State thing out there where it's maybe like you don't want to get Missouri and Missouri State mixed up.
That's a heated rivalry, Missouri and Missouri State out there. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I should stay like Missouri stand up, because that's a little bit more like that's how you get the local flavor in there.
Yeah, that's how my grandpa says it. Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri stand up.
I don't even know where the A comes from. I say that every time we talk about it.
I think I brought that up to you one time where I was like, people be saying Missouri out there, and you're like, no. And then one day you were like, yeah, actually, my grandpa says it like that. Exactly.
Yeah, because people like you, because people our age, I really have not heard it, because I'm out in the suburbs and stuff of that part of the city, so I'm not like in the country. You know what I mean? Where like I feel like people probably do say Missouri, but where I'm actually from, like no one says Missouri, it's Missouri. So my grandfather saying it the way he says it, it always was like, no, that's a him thing. That's not a rest of the city thing. But it might be out there in the country.
That's how you know he's a real local.
True. Even though he's from Port Jervis, New York, that is a local of St. Louis. I'm with it. I'm all with it. Andrew in the chat says, my STL grandpa says Washington, LOL. Yeah, I used to know people in New York that said like Warsher and Warder, like WORTER or something like that. I don't know. English is a difficult language.
That's like a Philly thing. I thought. Well, anyways, somehow we
it's the linguist podcast
into that topic. But Casey Woods, OC at SMU, likely not going to be coaching in the bowl game unless he pulls like a Alonzo Carter type move where he is specifically gonna do the coaching in the bowl game, but gonna set himself to the side to help with his new program's recruiting in the meantime. I guess that's possible. But even if it isn't a situation like that, Kevin, like I just feel like, the difference between a running backs coach and an offensive coordinator in this circumstance are very stark. Like Alonzo Carter, I don't want to diminish what he means to this program. And I think, being assistant head coach, having, such a leadership position, and it feels like he's done a great job recruiting and developing these running backs as well. But I just feel like that's definitely a lot more of a recruiting position, that particular assistant coaching role, the running backs coach, is a lot less of like the technical side of coaching and a lot more of finding the right guys. And, I think that, if you have a guy like Casey Woods who's calling plays and all of a sudden he's out the door, now you got to find someone else to fill that void, right? Whereas Alonzo Carter is maybe rotating in running backs, but that's not exactly a role that can't be mimicked by someone else on the roster. So that's why I do think that this is a big loss for SMU and definitely advantage Arizona in the regard of their play caller seems to be out the door.
Additionally, this is a big loss for SMU, you would think, because then it means that Kevin Jennings, their star quarterback, who is fancied to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country next season, if he were to return to SMU, that puts that in question, right? If you lose your OC, all of a sudden now the natural thought is, where does the quarterback go? Mm-hmm. Well, Kevin Jennings wanted to get out ahead of that today because he came out and announced that he will be returning to SMU next season. Jennings, this is from Billy Embody. Jennings is a top 10 nationally in passing and led SMU to the college football playoff last year. And when asked about why is he returning to SMU, Jennings said to get ahead of it. Get some great players to play alongside of me. And I guess he doesn't want this, rumor mill that is natural when you start to lose your offensive coordinator to come get back to him during bowl season. And you're just trying to go through practices, trying to get, better ahead of this game against a very good Arizona team. You don't want any of those distractions. So you do want to get out ahead of it. You do want to come out and say, no, I'm staying, or no, I'm leaving. And he will be staying at SMU. I feel like that is a pretty big move in this era of college football for a guy like Jennings, who I'm sure could go get some millions elsewhere. I'm sure he's getting paid a pretty penny to play at SMU, but yeah. I'm sure he could also get a lot of money elsewhere across the country because there were players trying to tamper with him last year. That was, I believe, from Chris. Who did I credit that to in our show notes there, Damon? That's my bad. Chris Vanini. He was saying that there were teams tampering with Jennings to try to get him into the portal last year. So for him to double down this time around, it honestly, very different stakes there. It gave me some Fafita vibes in the sense that there are teams, he's not in the portal yet, still tampering. Like, hey, you want to get out of that situation. Come join X school. Come join Y school. Come join Z school. And he doubles down and says no. And then the next year comes around, you have that same opportunity to go. And you say no. And so it did give me a little bit of Fafita vibes for Kevin Jennings staying at SMU next year.
Yeah, I think so. And I was going to say, like, SMU, he's getting a bag for sure. With some oil money out there in Dallas and Highland Park, which is, I don't know if you know, Kevin, SMU's in like the hoity-toity part of Dallas too. So that's what everybody hates SMU out there. But I do think that is very Fafita-esque. Like it's definitely a situation where he could go elsewhere. He probably could go to a more high-profile brand, right? And he's choosing to use his kind of standing and ability to make his roster better. And I think that's if you're SMU, that's what you want to hear. And that's the name of the game. Is I honestly, like, we saw it work with Fafita getting T-Mac and Kean Burnett and Jacob Manu and all these dudes who wanted to, join in with Noah Fafita, who was the first guy who committed to the University of Arizona of that crew, right? And I feel like at a school like Arizona, you're gonna have to try to find avenues to getting good, right? And I think that one of those avenues is because you're not just like LSU. You're not going to go out there and be like, well, our brand promotes itself and everyone wants to play at LSU, or we're Miami and we have the most money so we can get anybody that we want. Like, Arizona has to get creative. And I was long pounding the table for, let's try to be, Poly U. I know that USC and Oregon are always going to be probably the two schools that the highest of level Polynesian football players want to go play for are, but I think that we could be right there with Utah and with BYU as the schools right underneath. And I think that we have done that and have dove headfirst in that, and you've seen that as part of the reason why this program has gotten so much better. Another avenue in that regard where you can kind of use as like a shortcut of sorts is getting guys like Noah Fafita who are going to recruit outside of just themselves. You know what I mean? Like Noah Fafita was always going to bring a crew with him because Noah Fafita is respected. He's ingrained in the Southern California football community. And Oscar Rios is kind of the same way. Like, I'm not saying that, it was like in the exact same regard. I don't think that Oscar Rios has the Fafita family necessarily, behind him. They are in his corner. They do love him, but I don't think that they're like, the ones that are like necessarily galvanizing the troops like the Fafita family did. But, Oscar Rios is joining in with Dash Fafita in a Manoa Fa'apusa, who guys that are Southern California football players that have been playing together and known each other for a long time. And I think that consistently finding like a quarterback that brings others with him and wants to recruit outside of just himself and try to make his own roster better is actually the complete recipe for success at a program like Arizona and I guess at a program like SMU as well.
I've been looking down here at my laptop. I promise I am listening to your very intelligent, wise, sage words, Damon. But I've been looking into this Casey Woods situation to see if I can get any more information as to whether or not he'll be able to or he's planning on coaching in the bowl game. That, at this point, does not seem like it's out there yet in any definitive way, whether or not he's going to be able to do that for SMU. But I do think it is interesting, and this is something that maybe we can relate to, given what we went through with Jetfish and Brent Brennan and all that. Casey Woods was also their tight ends coach. And apparently, according to some people that cover SMU that I'm reading on Twitter in live time, so maybe I don't have the full depth of the situation, but it seems like they need a tight end through the portal this year, and their tight ends coach and offensive coordinator in one person is now leaving the Missouri State. Not only is he just, the OC at SMU, from what I'm reading, he is like one of the most beloved coordinators at this level in the country. Like, he has wide receiver experience in the SEC. Apparently he played on a national championship team during his time. I'm pretty impressed from what I'm learning about Casey Woods. And if he is unable to coach in this upcoming bowl game, for whatever reason, whether it be, responsibilities to Missouri State or otherwise, that feels like a huge loss for SMU, Damon. And I know that, and I do want to get back to what you were saying about the Fafita specifically, but, as much as the Kevin Jennings thing reminded me of the Noah Fafita situation, if he doesn't have his OC and his tight ends don't have their tight ends coach, that is a big loss for a bowl game against a defense in Arizona that is locked down, airtight. So, yeah, I would continue to monitor whether or not Casey Woods is able to coach in this upcoming bowl game or whether he plans on doing so, because that does feel like it could be a big, big impact on the result of that game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you were saying he is the tight ends coach, or he's bringing the tight ends coach with him?
It seemed like he was also like doing the dual duty thing.
Gotcha.
Doing the position coach and offensive coordinator coach role.
He also was had the title of chief of staff of SMU, whatever that entails, which, maybe it sounds like this guy had like 6 jobs that they had him do. Maybe he is a solid head coach.
Maybe he is that guy. Max earlier in the chat said that Missouri State was his college football 26 dynasty team in EA Sports, 3 rings and counting. Maybe they didn't even need Max in the game. Maybe they just needed Casey Woods in real life, because it seems like this guy is like the GOAT in waiting, if you ask Twitter. You know what I mean? Apparently. So that is very interesting. And we do have more to talk about on that side of things, the SMU side of things, as well as the Arizona side of things, because there's some stuff going on within our own state that I think Damon would be very interested to continue to talk about, because it's been the talk of the town all week. It's the AZ Wildcats podcast. Drink your water, leave a like, do not go anywhere. We will be right back. It is officially, Damon, the holiday season, and if you're looking to spice up your holidays, make it even more merry and bright, and get what you really want out of this holidays, man, Fascinations is the spot for you. And I know the feeling. We've all been there. You might want to dip your toe into the adult shop, but you don't really want to go in there, and you don't know if that's the crowd. You don't know if that's, you might get a weird look. You don't know if that's the case, but that's how you feel going into that experience. But that's why Fascinations is the place for you, because now you can buy online and pick it up in-store fast, easy, and totally discreet. Shop online at fascinations.net or visit one of their 12 locations in Arizona, because like I said, you don't need weird eye contact when you're shopping for this kind of stuff. This is very personal stuff to you. So make sure to shop online at fascinations.net, because folks, what happens under that mistletoe? It stays under the mistletoe. So use promo code PHNX30 at checkout to receive 30% off your first order. That's PHNX30 to receive 30% off your order at fascinations.net. Fascinations, naughty list approved. Man, that's a spicy read for a spicy company. Make sure to check them out.
It really is a spicy company, Kevin. But of course, if you're looking for some gear to make your company stand out from the crowd, you are going to look no further than our friends over at Branded Bills. I got the custom apparel canvas flag hat on right now.
I'm waiting on mine.
Mail.
It's in the
just
mail.
a mere, what was it, like 2-3 days ago now? And I have not taken it off since, I'm pretty sure. Head on over to brandedbills.com. Use promo code BBPHNX and get 15% off your first order. Again, that's at brandedbills.com. They have over 40 partnerships with the universities. But of course, we only care about one. They have the campus collection featuring the best Arizona Wildcats headgear in the game. Kevin's sporting a Wilbur T Wildcat hat right there. Special. Kevin's buddy Wilbur. Is that a little bit of a weird dynamic, Kevin? I mean, he is your friend. It'd be like if I walked in wearing a Kevin Thomas hat on the podcast.
But our guy Wilbur, like, we don't got motion like Wilbur does. It's not weird because that's like just his logo. Like, that's just his. He has a brand. He has a persona that he.
So you're saying if you're friends with like Colin Cowherd, like you'd be wearing like Cowherd merch?
Sure, why not? You know, if you had like a Damon's dog hat with Branded Bills and it was like you as a dog, I'd wear that.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? Gotta support the friends.
Colin Cowherd, if he hasn't already, though, he better hit up the Herd, the Volume Sports, all of his companies, Branded Bills. It's the only way to get custom apparel done, and I promise you, it would have those boys looking fresh. It's a local company out of Mesa, Arizona. We love supporting local, and we appreciate our friends over at Branded Bills. So head on over to brandedbills.com and use promo code BBPHNX. Get 15% off your first order. Again, that's brandedbills.com.
Max, I'm not going to put it up. You know what you did. You know what you said. It was hilarious. But 5 minutes timeout, Max. 5 minutes timeout, bro. Not actually. You're free to chat. Not actually. But that was wild. That was wild indeed.
Max is a wild boy.
Yeah, Max, you are a wild boy for that. I cannot.
I kind of appreciate it, though. I
loved it. It was hilarious.
I wish that Kevin and I could make jokes like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely wish that we could as well. Because Lord knows we would be getting those jokes off. But anyway, Damon, there is some news going on around the Valley related to Max's comment, actually, about Jerome Moore. Kenny Dillingham, we thought that the rumors were dead. We thought that they had no more life. And then all of a sudden, the contract had yet to be signed. There was no extension. There was rumors of an extension. There was rumors of this, rumors of that. But Damon, right now, it seems like Michael Crow, even though he's getting every heartfelt, love letter written to him from ASU fans and pundits alike about why they love this program and why they'll stop loving this program if he does not get Dilly back.
I didn't catch any of that.
It seems like if Dilly goes to Michigan, ASU athletics is just going to quit. They're just going to stop trying.
They might, from what it sounds like, they might not have a fan in the building.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the whole ASU everything is just quitting. The Valley officially deactivated.
Truly.
Yes.
Like, and I mean, it's a little bit of a weird situation. Obviously, they laughed at us so much when Jed Fish left. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that, like, they didn't make any friends in Tucson necessarily with this similar scenario. That being said, I do think that you could make the argument that Kenny being at ASU and ASU being, what they have been, I guess, under Kenny Dillingham pushes Arizona to, have a certain level of success.
It does.
I think the way in which last season went with how disastrous Arizona season was, combined with ASU being the Big 12 champs, is part of the reason why it felt as bad as it did. Because they had the season that we thought we were going to have, and they took it from us. It felt like, right? And so, yeah, exactly. So I think that this is, a situation where you could argue that it's better for the entire health of the state of Arizona from a football standpoint to keep Kenny Dillingham, but also, like, I'll be damned if I ain't going to laugh when he walks out the door.
It's undeniably good to have both Brent Brennan and Kenny Dillingham in the state because, all the jokes, rivalry stuff aside, how incredible was it to have a ranked territorial cup this year?
It was
awesome. Then to end the game feeling like next year we could run this back with two ranked teams if things go a certain way, right? Noah Fafida's coming back. At the time, you think maybe Sam Levitt's coming back, but now that's cooked. But you know what I mean? Like it felt like not only was it a rivalry game that meant everything because of the existing hundreds of years of hating each other from Tucson and Phoenix, right? But it felt like it mattered for actual football reasons. And I think that is what makes having a guy like Kenny Dillingham, the coach of ASU, very nice as much as we, would like him to go to Michigan because that makes our life as fans a lot easier, right? But
we don't have to worry about ASU essentially.
Yes. Yeah. And same way with basketball. I was watching ASU versus UCLA last night, right? The late tip game, and I didn't even care who won the game. I didn't. Because I don't give a damn what ASU basketball does because I know that they're not of the same level as us, even in a good year, right?
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately kind of devalues the rivalry in a way. So having a guy like Kenny Dillingham, where you're up against it, the whole saying of rising tides raise all ships, that is what is going on here in the Valley right now. The idea, obviously, Brent Brennan had to succeed this year for Brent Brennan and for Arizona, but for that game to be the cherry on top of the regular season this year, you're lying if you feel like that did not mean just a little bit more because ASU was actually competitive and Arizona was actually competitive, not just against one another, but against the whole conference. So having Kenny Dillingham in the conference, good for the Big 12, good for the state of Arizona, good for ASU. If he were to leave, it's a parade inside my city, at least for a day. That's a fact.
The social streets are going to blow up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think you look at this Kenny situation, and this is not knowledge based from my standpoint. This is me just trying to connect some dots here. Feels like Kenny wants a financial backing that makes him, get up towards the Big 12, the top of the Big 12, Kevin. And that's not to say like Texas Tech level. No one's Texas Tech level in this conference, and that's pretty clear. But I think Kenny wants to be competing at the top with the next crop of teams from an NIL standpoint, from the rest of his staff and taking care of those guys, and so that's where this holdup has been, and then ASU essentially has the money to make that happen, but they would have to commit a lot more towards athletics in a way that they haven't really done so under Michael Crow, and Michael Crow has been very adamant about like trying to, as we've said on this show, like up the standing of ASU as a university. ASU as a university is no longer the joke that it was 20 years ago. And that pretty much is in large part due to Michael Crow and what a good job he's done as school president. But he kind of draws the line at athletics. And so it's the power struggle right now is basically, I think Kenny wants to pull out all stops to give ASU every chance to be to remain at ASU. And he's going to use this as leverage to up his own financial backing at ASU. And then eventually, if that just doesn't come, then we could be seeing him potentially go out the door. So I still think it's very much up in the air. I don't think that I wouldn't even like give it a lean in any direction. In fact, maybe I lean a little bit more towards ASU keeping him.
Yeah.
Just because
the
noise has been so loud. But as long as this door is open, it's going to be scary for ASU fans. That's for sure.
I mean, the whole premise of the Sun Devils podcast today was that even if this Michigan job gets filled, it's not over then because there's another job that has just opened up with whoever is taking the Michigan job.
Yeah, 100%. If
And
you're
you think
Alabama,
that-
I'm going after Kenny Dillingham.
And you think that if there's look, hey, if there's three options for this Michigan job, and let's say it's Jed Fish, Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham, and they eliminate Jed Fish, and then it's just Kenny Dillingham and Kalen DeBoer, and then let's say it ends up being Kalen DeBoer, Alabama not hiring Kalen DeBoer, they just let him go. Alabama not hiring Jed Fish. There's one more guy in the room, and it's Kenny Dillingham. So even if Arizona State fans get through this tumultuous trial period of him maybe going to Michigan, maybe not going to Michigan, you exhale. That's done. You turn around, Alabama's right behind me, aren't they? Yes, they are. And they're going to be knocking on Kenny Dillingham's door just as hard as Michigan was. So it's really interesting what's going on at ASU right now. I don't know. Like I said, it felt dead a couple weeks ago. And now the stubbornness of just wanting to let Kenny do whatever he wants negotiation-wise has put this at an impasse, it feels. And as I said to you this morning when we got in, jokingly, Michael Crow, don't you let Kenny Dillingham walk all over you. Don't you let him just start making demands because he won the Big 12. What does that even mean, really?
This is your university, damn it.
Exactly.
Your school.
Precisely. You know what I mean? Football season ends. Guess what's still going? Michael Crow. You know what I mean?
Act like it, Michael Crow. Plant your flag. Say this is my school. No one is bigger than the university. No one is bigger than one Mr. Michael Crow.
No one is bigger than education.
Fact.
Is Kenny Dillingham anti-learning? Does he want to take books out of backpacks and put helmets on the shoulders?
And he's book burning.
I mean, hey, we kid, but where's the money coming from? Where does he think it's just getting poofed up? The money's got to come from somewhere. Kenny Dillingham, anti-education. You heard it here first. I said what I said.
It's the kind of hard-hitting journalism you come for at the AZ Wildcats podcast. Stuff like that. I like I said, it's a little bit conflicting, especially from our company standpoint, because Kenny does mean a lot to what we have going on here on one of our podcasts. Yes. But I'm still going to enjoy it if he does, in fact, leave. But it does make it a little bit conflicting in that, like, I think he does push Arizona to be decent at football. I think that, he does actually impact what we got going on here a little bit. And I don't want to see them completely fall off of a cliff, but it would be funny in the meantime. And honestly, as Max puts here in the chat, like, the main thing out of all of this is, like, in the craziest head coaching cycle of all time in college football history, and you have openings at Penn State, Michigan, Florida. What are some other schools that have big openings, Kevin? I mean, I know Virginia Tech had an opening. LSU. I can't believe I forgot that.
Miami?
No, not Miami.
They had a quarterback opening. My bad.
But you have some massive jobs that have opened
UCLA,
up. And if he somehow is just turning down all of them in favor of staying at ASU, that is just insane. I could not fathom that.
I think I've said this on the show. I think I've said this either to you off air or on the show on air.
Auburn.
But yes, Auburn as well. But if that exact point that Max made, if he is to do that, he is so special. He is
truly one of one.
This is like, to bring back the video game stuff, this is EA college football levels of loyalty. This is like, I just want to stay here, and I know I can boot up a new save if I wanted to go to Michigan anyway. But, like, this is Kenny Dillingham almost, I mean, I'm not going to pocket watch, but, like, almost making bad decisions in some ways of, like, just loyalty over whatever might get him to where he ultimately wants to be. But maybe this is where he wants to be. And maybe that's why he cries at the idea that I'm serious, that he cannot get ultimately what he needs to do what he wants to do at ASU, right? Maybe that is him crying knowing that he's had conversations with Michael Crow that look like, I'm not ponying it up for you, big dog. And he has to then go out there and wear that as the guy that would have then left. And people in 5 years forget Michael Crow. Outside of Tempe, people are going to never even know who Michael Crow was if Kenny Dillingham leaves. Maybe some diehard Michigan fans are like, shout out to that guy for getting us our guy.
Yeah.
But 99% of football fans, college football fans, have no idea who Michael Crow is, have no idea what the hang-up is with Kenny getting his extension. And if he were to go to Michigan, they would place all that responsibility on Kenny Dillingham. And he knows that. And so maybe that, like, there's a hundred reasons as to why he could have cried during that answer. But maybe that's one of them, right? Maybe he knows that he gets strapped with all that responsibility if he is to leave, and no one's going to remember selfish Michael Crow who wanted to help people learn some good learning. That's all I'm trying to say.
I think Michael Crow is like, this is a legacy moment for Michael Crow.
It is.
As much as he's done for Arizona State, the university, this feels like a moment where he's going to be remembered for how he either keeps or lets Kenny Dillingham walk out the door.
Yeah.
And as much as maybe it shouldn't be, and like maybe he has a better fundamental belief in what what a college should be and what a university should be, and like maybe his idea is truly where it should be. The fact of the matter is, especially at a big state school that plays in a power conference like ASU, the alumni connects to the athletic department. And so people don't care what you're doing for the university that everybody went to, that, like they have their diploma and their name on, right? People care about what the football team looks like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so it makes it an easy choice if you're a guy like me or you, Kevin, or like Totri and Eric, and you're talking about how, sports are so important. Like, we all know what we would do, but Michael Crow is a different cat. And as I said, legacy defining moment, and hold the MF in line. That's what I say.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a Michael Crow joke, but yeah, hold the line, Michael Crow. Like I said earlier, do not let this man walk all over you just because he's good at the football-y thing and he knows how to coach it. All right? Don't let him do that. This is your program. This is your school. This is your campus in the middle of the metropolitan area. So yeah, I'm all about it. Make sure Kenny Dillingham ends up in Ann Arbor. If not then Tuscaloosa. If not then anywhere else.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
the Alabama point is interesting, like the domino effect of that, similar to a Jed Fish domino effect, honestly.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty crazy. But yeah, I do think that I'm leaning towards Kenny stays at ASU, but also like how crazy would it be for that clip of him crying to end up being because he was thinking about how devastated he would be leaving Tempe and leaving ASU.
I think that's like a non-0% chance that is
No,
correct.
it's certainly a non-0% chance.
For as much as we know he actually we know he actually cares about Arizona State. We know he actually, like, if Kenny Dillingham in a fantasy scenario could pick a place for him to be his whole career,
for sure,
it is where he is right now at Arizona State. So for him to potentially have to wear that, be the guy that left after talking all that talk, I'm sure it crushes. I'm sure it crushes him.
Yeah, and the fact that his family would still live here in the Valley, like I think that all of that is why he's trying to give ASU every opportunity to make the proper decision here. But we're gonna find out, man. We're gonna find out. And as I said, hold the line, Michael Crow. I love what Harvey Manfred Jensen puts here in the chat, saying about how Desiree's leadership is a big part of our current and future success at Arizona. And I just want to say that I feel like we don't. We're not, Kevin and I aren't exactly doing this podcast just to like promote Arizona athletics. We obviously love the athletic department. We want to talk about it. And that's what we try to do that here in this community every single day. But it's not like it's not like our job is to like only speak positively. Right. But I do feel like we run into a lot of every time that like we post a clip of Desiree talking about, like some financial situation at U of A, talking about the naming rights of Casino del Sol Stadium, blah, blah, blah. And it like the discourse around DRF is pretty infuriating, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I understand it comes to the territory and she's a woman in sports, and I'm sure that she's very used to the discourse and how the people will talk, especially given that she's, been the AD at Missouri, and not to throw you guys under the bus. Kevin,
at Missouri?
But that's a little bit more like country bumpkin type of folk over there.
A lot of Chicago kids, hey. A lot of Chicago kids. Same thing with Arizona. All these LA kids can't get into their schools. They come down. Hey, I'm just saying not as socially accepted as, part of the country, I guess I would say. But it just feels like she gets a lot of flack for like people will automatically comment on the way she looks or like make some comment about how she thinks she's smarter than what she is. But I completely agree. I think that she has this athletic department humming right now, and that we're in a really good spot, especially financially, especially with her under her stewardship and her leadership to fix this financial situation. And I think if you're an Arizona fan, you have to have all the confidence in the world that DRF is the right athletic director for the job right now in Tucson. I really want to end this show on an incredibly positive note. So Damon, let's do our outro, and I'm gonna remix it a little bit different this time. So let's get on out of here. And it's been a really good pod. Thank you to Brent Brennan. That was an incredible interview. But unless Damon has more to say, I'm ready to get on out of here for today. Get to Fired Up Friday tomorrow.
Let's go ahead and check out that last piece of information, Kevin. And I think I have a feeling as to what it potentially is. Happy birthday, one Seth Dagey.
Dagey Day. It's Dagey Day. And I wanted to end today's show by, shout out to Harvey, shout out to Damon, but the lob of talking positively about this program. This right now is Arizona football. And I think lost in all of the tumult of the last couple of years, lost in all of the transition, the transfers, the new faces, the red line, all of that, is the Fafita family really holding the line for not only Arizona football, but for Tucson and the people that want to represent Tucson and Arizona football. Miss Fafita put out this in response to Seth Dagey's birthday. My kid's eyes light up talking about your offense. I don't understand what he's talking about, but thank you for believing in him. I'm sure Abby and Leighton have the best day planned for you if you ever finally leave your office. Happy birthday. Thank you for it all. And a little dancing Dagey at the end there. Happy birthday, Seth Dagey.
The love in this room?
And exactly that. The love is prevalent. It is everywhere. And it is just orating out of all of us. Is that a word? Orating? I know it's a word, but I don't know if I used it right.
I think, isn't orating giving speeches?
Yeah. But, hey, the love is coming out of my mouth right now. So, hey. verbally. Would you relax? It's not a Fashion Nations read, man. Calm down.
No comment.
You're letting it simmer and ruminate like that?
No, I just no comment, Kev. I mean, that was the craziest one we've
Guy left me on an island.
That was probably the craziest pause we've had in show history, was it not?
Oh man. Shout out to AZ G for 3 months of membership. Good job, guys. Thank you, AZ G. You are an OG of this channel, whether it be the buzzer beaters, the super chats, or your membership. Thank you, Real Pigeon. The love is radiating out of or from all of us. Thank you, Real Pigeon. Real birds in the chat.
Radiating, I think radiating was the word that Kevin was looking for in that circumstance.
Hey,
as Jervis said, it could mean many, many things.
Speaking.
Sure.
I don't know. Can we get out of here before I embarrass myself further?
We have to because Kevin is he's in dangerous waters right now. This is similar to Damon's Branded Bills opening read the other day.
Zone.
And
yeah.
And so I'm just gonna separate myself and let Kevin just kind of dig the hole a little bit deeper. But let's talk about tomorrow's podcast, Kevin, because we do have a Friday show. We are excited. 2 p.m. Cannot wait for it. We'll be previewing Arizona's upcoming basketball matchup on Saturday versus San Diego State. And appreciate everybody for watching this show. We had Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan on the top of the podcast. If you guys missed it, please do so. Go back to it and watch that interview. It's about 15 minutes long. And we just kind of get to do a quick little book report, a little review of the entire 2025 season and let coach do a little bit of a victory lap here because not everyone believed, including people on this podcast potentially. Kevin believed a little bit more so than me. I'll give him credit, and I wavered at one point in the season, but it's you could feel that the belief in this football program's mind was never really wavering, Kevin, and that they always kept the main thing, and that main thing was in fact Redline. Go buy that Redline t-shirt on our locker. Go to store.allcitynetwork.com. And go get yourself that Redline t-shirt for yourself for the holiday season. Kevin's came in today and it looks fresh as hell. So we appreciate everybody for watching this episode. Please drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Rate and review on your favorite podcasting platform. That helps us out so much. Even if you're a YouTube user, if you can just do the rate and review on the podcasting platform, that just it gets the word out to more and more people and it is very impactful on what we do. So please just take the 5 minutes, say, Good job, fellas, and give 5 stars. And that's all you got to put in there. It takes, no time at all. Appreciate everybody for being here. Follow me at Damon Dog. Follow him at Kevo Post. And follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all socials. We will catch you on a Friday at 2 p.m. But until then, peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. That was a hell of an interview with the ball coach, damn it.
We all silly like the mayor.